For over a decade, I've battled chronic pain stemming from my diagnosis of fibromyalgia. On a pain scale between 1 and 10, I was regularly between a 4 and an agonizing 8. Desperate for relief, I sought out many different practitioners, from chiropractors to rheumatologists, anyone who could save me from this agony. I juggled many different remedies, from varied diets, supplements, increased exercise. I even dedicated a whole year to yoga. But despite all my efforts, I still had persistent pain. There would be glimpses of relief and I would feel better, but then the pain always resurfaced, and that left me feeling hopeless, exhausted, and frustrated. Then, in the midst of my relentless pursuit to get rid of my pain, a pivotal moment emerged. I realized that I had been fixated on my future, waiting for this moment where I would be liberated from my pain, and then I could be happy and I could be okay. But what happened was I realized this mindset was actually causing more of my suffering. And that if I just embraced acceptance, that I could get to a place where maybe I could experience minimal pain. And if I still did have pain, I could at least find peace and contentment within it. Today, I'm going to share with you some strategies to help you break the pain cycle. So these are going to be approaches that you can take to lessen your pain on the pain scale. And even if you have pain, if you use my approaches, you can still live a life of vitality and fulfillment even in the presence of pain. If you want to hear more after this video, please make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so you can be notified of any new videos that I create for you. So strategy number 1, and I do believe that this is the most important strategy, and that is meditation and mindfulness. Learning how to meditate and making it a regular practice in your life. So why is this so important? Because you can't change what you don't know. You may think that you know what you're thinking about at all times and how you're acting. But if I give you this example, you're driving in a car and you get to your destination, but can you recall what you saw on the way from point A to point B? Did you notice the car that was in front of you? Can you remember what color it was? Did you notice the trees alongside the road? See, there's a lot of things that we do in life, whether it's taking a shower, washing the dishes, driving on our way to work, that you're in autopilot. So you're not actually paying attention or being mindful about what you're doing. You're just doing things without even thinking about it. See, there's a very strong mind-body connection. And if we're not tuned in to what's going on in our mind and in our body, then it can have an effect on how we feel. Have stuff that's going on, maybe that you haven't processed, whether it's trauma from the past, or stress, or anger, or sadness, or grief. And if you don't process those emotions, they will get trapped in your body, and that can also contribute to your pain. So the more aware that you can be of your thoughts, you can actually have a choice to redirect your attention. And this has a great impact on what happens in the body. So when you meditate, all you have to do is focus on your breath. Just bring your attention to your breath. When I work with people on meditation, a lot of times they'll come to me and say, "Oh, I tried to do meditation for 5 minutes, but I just couldn't do it. I wasn't good at it. My thoughts were just racing. I just couldn't control my thoughts." Well, that's okay. If you are paying attention and your thoughts are racing, well, then you're doing a good job because you're aware of your thoughts. Those thoughts, they've always been there. It's just that they're playing in the back of your mind, kind of like listening to music in the background. You may not be paying attention to it, but it's always there. So if you're able to sit down and actually see all of these racing thoughts, that's a good sign. What you're going to work on is getting really good at catching it. What you're going to do is sit down, pay attention to your breath. And when a thought comes up, go ahead and notice it. Observe that thought, but then come right back to your breath. When another thought comes up, observe that thought, back to the breath again. And when you notice these thoughts, try not to place judgment on your thoughts. There's no such thing as good or bad thoughts. They're just there. They just are what they are. What you are is the observer behind your thoughts. By spending 5 minutes a day in meditation, you will become more aware of your thoughts, which do impact your body, and you'll become more aware of your actions. A lot of times our actions are what cause our pain. Sometimes we do repetitive actions that we're not even aware of that could be contributing to your pain. For instance, when you're sitting at a desk all day long for 8 hours and your shoulders are rolled forward and your head is pushing towards the screen, when you're stuck there for 8 hours, that can contribute to pain. But it's hard to be aware of how you're sitting and what you're doing if you haven't been practicing mindfulness or meditation. So by starting with this one meditative practice, 5 minutes a day, just paying attention to your thoughts and bringing your attention back to your breath, then you can start noticing other things in life, whether it's your emotions or your repetitive behaviors that could be contributing to your pain. The next thing that's helped me get out of the pain cycle is exercise and movement. It's really important that you get together with a professional like an exercise physiologist, a physical therapist, or a certified personal trainer. Because if they can take a look at your body and figure out, what muscles are weak, what muscles need to be stretched, then they can give you the appropriate exercises and stretches to do to help you get out of pain. Exercising and doing movement is way more important than sitting and resting. It seems a little bit like counterintuitive, when we're in pain, we have a tendency to want to rest and to protect our bodies and keep them from hurting even more. But actually strengthening the body really does help to get out of pain. But what's important is that you're doing exercises that are comfortable, exercises that are within a range of motion that does not cause any further pain. The exercises that you do need to feel comfortable for your body. And working with a professional can really help you to identify what those exercises are that will allow you to continue strengthening your body. And as far as strengthening is concerned, my recommendation is that you strength train about 2 to 3 times a week and that you do other activities on your non-strength training days. Some activities would be like going swimming, dancing, biking, maybe doing some yoga, or even just going for a nice long walk. It's whatever feels good. You want to feel good in your body when you're moving. And if you work long days, it can be helpful to set an alert on your computer, just telling you to get up and stand or move about. So maybe every hour, if you could take about 5 minutes just to move your body, you'll feel so much better. It's when we're in stillness that our body tends to get stiff and the pain comes back and we feel it even more. But you also need to be very careful about how much exercise you do. Sometimes if we overdo it, that could actually aggravate our pain if we do too much. So it's important to just monitor what you're doing and check in with yourself. Being more mindful and aware of how certain movements and exercises make your body feel is going to help you determine what is the best plan for you. Have you ever noticed that your pain gets worse when you eat certain foods or drink certain beverages? It could be that there's a food that you have an intolerance to, and that is causing your inflammation. So how do you know which foods those are? By trying a basic elimination diet. So first, just ask yourself a few questions. What foods do I eat the most? What foods do I crave the most? What foods would I have a difficult time giving up? Then make yourself a list of all the foods that you think might be contributing to your problem. You're going to eliminate these foods for 2 weeks and then check in with your body. If you still have pain, then try to wait another 2 weeks. If at any time you have a slip and you eat one of the foods that is on your list, then go ahead and start over. After 2 weeks, if you're feeling pretty good and symptom-free, now is the time to start adding the foods back. You'll add them back one at a time every 3 days. Once you have identified that food culprit that is causing your pain, then that is the food that you will eliminate from your diet. If after 4 weeks you have eliminated these foods and you're still experiencing pain, that would be a good time to start exploring other elimination diets or work with a healthcare professional who can guide you in the right direction.
The fourth thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is sleep. And I'm not necessarily talking about the quantity of sleep, but the quality of your sleep. If you have good quality sleep, you will have less inflammation in your body. The environment of your room is important. You want to make sure that it's nice and dark. So buying some blackout curtains would be really helpful. Just make sure that there's not any moonlight coming into the room because that can interrupt your melatonin production. And maybe having a little white noise, a nice humming sound that will just improve the quality of your sleep and help you sleep through the night. Having a before bedtime ritual will also help you get ready for sleep. So just think about maybe 3 or 4 things that you can do and do it in the same order each night. So that way you're training your body that by the time you lay your head on that pillow, you're ready for sleep. Avoiding blue light before bed. Blue light also interferes with melatonin production, and if you expose yourself to blue light and devices before bed, it can actually interrupt your sleep and wake you up in the middle of the night. So you want to stay away from blue light about 2 to 3 hours prior to bedtime. Alcohol and caffeine is something that you want to avoid before bedtime. So I would limit the caffeine to 6 hours prior to bedtime. And with alcohol, it helps you fall asleep, yes indeed, but it will wake you up in the middle of the night and cause poor quality sleep. You want to make sure that you're going to bed at the same time each day and waking up at the same time each day, including weekends. That way you can regulate your internal clock so your body knows when to go to sleep and knows when to wake up. Lastly, get whatever is on your mind out of your mind prior to going to bed. Have you ever had nights where you wake up in the middle of the night and your brain is like on a hamster wheel? You're thinking about all the things that you have to do, or maybe you're reflecting on a conversation that you had that's kind of disturbing you. Well, if you can get all those thoughts out onto a piece of paper before bed, then you can let it go and get better quality sleep.
The last thing that is going to help you manage your pain is processing all of your emotions and then looking for what is going well. It's a natural tendency to want to push away certain feelings like anger or guilt or jealousy, fear, sadness. But when we do that, what happens is it gets trapped in our bodies and it makes our situation worse. If we can actually process what we feel, whether that's with a therapist or writing it down in a journal or talking to a supportive friend, we can actually let go of some of those emotions. They wouldn't have such a grip on you. And if you can look at all emotions and feelings, whether it is sadness or anger or joy
or happiness, if you can look at them all as just, this is the spectrum of human emotions. It's normal to have them and it's okay to have them. It will make it a lot easier for you to process them. It's the resistance towards these emotions that actually cause our suffering. And when you're in pain, it takes a lot of work to find what's going well. And maybe sometimes that means coming out of isolation and just getting around people. Being in a community, or being in a community of like-minded individuals who are going through what you're going through, that will give you the support you need and give you a little bit of hope. Spending some time just looking for the little joys in life. You know, maybe it's just going outside and being in nature and really paying attention to what's around you. Finding joy in seeing someone else happy. Hang out with positive people, people who are resilient and handle hardship well. Sometimes you might be in a situation where you can't do much and you feel pretty miserable. Maybe you're laid up in bed. But if you can think about someone else, if there's a way that you can help someone else, it really gets you out of yourself, out of the struggle. And there's something about helping others that will just make you feel so much better and bring a lot more joy into your life. Even if it's something as simple as a phone call or sending a text to someone to let them know that you're thinking about them. Anytime that you're helping others or focusing your attention on others, it's going to bring more meaning into your life.
As we come to the end of this discussion, I hope that my insights of breaking the chronic pain cycle were valuable to you. Remember, your journey is unique, and finding what works for you is key. By exploring different things that resonate with your body, you are taking proactive steps towards a more vibrant and fulfilling life despite the presence of pain. Thank you for being with me today. Take care and be well.